Amazon and Captain TV, my fellow Amazoneers. Okay, yes, it's another time to get inspired and motivated as usual. And hope you enjoyed the last episode of the show. Yes, it's raining in Lagos at the moment, but yeah, we are out here to give to you content that will inspire you. So welcome on board. I am Tosin Adeyemi. Worldwide, there is an estimation of about 40 to 42 million prostitutes. Now, 80% of the world population of prostitutes are females and range between the age of 13 to 25. Now, this act of trading sex with money is regarded as a social disorder, and it is found in many parts of the countries across the world. Now, down to the African society, this is not an acceptable act. Down to the African country, this is not an acceptable practice, but it is found in our culture. In African countries like Nigeria, where most culture speaks against this sex trade, sex workers, but it's found in our culture and the number is increasing on a daily basis. So how do we curb this and how do we address the prevalence of prostitutes in Nigeria? I will be having a conversation with an NGO practitioner who is also a survivor. Please join me on the interview segment. We've got more and lots to discuss today. All right, welcome to the interview segment. Today we will be talking to an NGO practitioner who focuses on sex workers in Lagos State. She runs a social reintegration NGO for sex workers in Lagos through a network. She also has a divine passion to coach ladies into getting it right in relationship. She is a transformational and inspirational speaker that spurs and pushes people into becoming the best version of themselves. In person of Doreen Omosele. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for having us as well.
Yeah.
So now I want you to tell the viewer more about yourself. Tell us more about Doreen Omosele.
Okay. I don't know. You practically said everything.
Okay.
But
Maybe
I'll
there are
say...
more that I've not said.
Okay. I'm a woman of God. I love God, and I'm basically all about living out what God has created me, to be. So I think that's the part about me that that you didn't talk about. So and I really want to see ladies become the best version of themselves. It pains my heart when I see a lady living short of who she was created to be. When I see a lady thriving and doing so well, I'm really, really excited. So that's it about me. And I'm married to an amazing man. I'm a mom. So that's it.
Okay, now tell us what you do, what you are into.
Okay. Well, I run an NGO that reaches out to sex workers, and I run a ministry that reaches out to ladies. But for the NGO, which is really, really dear to my heart, we basically go reach out to sex workers and we let them know that they are still loved and they can still blossom and they can still become the best version of themselves. That this is not the end, of their life. They don't have to continue doing this. They can stop and become women that can create products and services and still be relevant in their society. So that's what I do. Basically, I run an NGO and it's been ongoing since 2017.
Because looking at what you do, this is what is kind of rare. It's not really common. We have so many NGO practitioners. Some focus on girls, women, disabled, blah, 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 and all of that. But this is special. This is different because when I saw NGO practitioner for sex workers, I was like, sex worker, prostitute, wow. So I was I was really, really interested in having a conversation with you. Like, what inspired you to start up? But I'm going
Wow.
to ask that later, not now. But I really want to hear your story, like growing up for you, your childhood. What are you mostly grateful for?
Wow. Ha. I'm grateful that I didn't end up, you know, the way my childhood, you know, dealt with me. I actually had a pretty rough one, a pretty rough childhood. My story would be that of a girl who was raped when she didn't want to be raped at a very tender age. My story is that of a girl, you know, a little girl who was abused for years when she didn't ask for it. And I grew up actually thinking I was a sex object. I actually cried one day to God, and then I said, God, is this why you created me? Did you create me to give pleasure, like sexual pleasure to guys? Because I remember I had this best friend then in secondary school. We're friends, where was a guy and we're very close. And then one day he said to me, he said he wants to ask me for a favor, and I said, what? And then he said, adolescence is approaching, I can see his beard is growing, and he would really love for me to help with that. And I was like, what
How?
does that mean?
How?
And then he said I should give him sex. And I remember crying that day on my way home. Like, I was like, God, is this why you created me? Why is it that every encounter I have with a guy is either sex, I need sex and all that? And then I heard a voice say, yes, that was why I created you. And then I sort of thought that was the voice of God. So I remember cleaning my tears, and then I said, okay, that's it, it's fine. So sex for me was just the axe away. Whoever just comes and can approach, and so that was how I kind of like lived my life, growing up. But all of that changed until I met the person who really created me, until I met the person who actually gave me, life and sent me on earth. And that's the person of, God, Jesus. So all of that changed for me when I met him. And then he told me that was a lie, that was in me, that's not the reason why he created me. So I'm grateful for actually getting to meet the person who created me. He gave me my true identity. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm really grateful also on your behalf. But I'm very sure. But first, I'll commend you that you are a strong lady. You are a survivor and you have scaled through. And I'm so sure that so many people also are in the shoes that you wear. Some are in it presently, are like looking for how they can actually come out of it. And like there's no hope, just like the voice that you heard, that you saying that, is this what you are called out to do? And the voice saying that yes, and you kept pushing on. Now I would like you to tell us how that scenario, that particular happening situation that led to your freedom.
Okay. What led to my freedom? I have it in bits and pieces. Okay, so I would say that what led to my freedom was me actually getting coached by someone who really understood, where I was coming from. And they sort of counseled me, and they led me to to see that this is not who you are. You are not this person. Okay. And I was led to a great church that doesn't condemn people who have been through things like this. And I would say that church really played a great role in my life. Like, they sort of carried me, and counseled me, coached me, and I would say that, I mean, thank God for that, church. They really, really helped me see that I can be the woman that God created me to be. So that was my breaking point. All the while I was going to church, but nobody really told me that this is not who you're meant to be. Nobody introduced me to the person who would show me my real identity. So, but that church did it for me. So I can't even say, let me even code it. I can't, to be honest. That church did it for me. That was the breaking point for me.
Okay, usually I hear that people who have passed through what you have passed through find it hard to settle down. You're married,
Yeah.
with beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
Now, because it's a general perception that people who have passed through this find it hard, because any guy that comes to them, they are like, oh no, it looks like, no, you are nothing to me.
Yeah.
They feel disgusted by the sight of a man.
Yeah.
So how was it like for you? How did you come across this person?
Okay, so I kind of have this belief about people who have been through what I've been through, and the belief is that there are actually two outcomes, and they are both on the extremes. So ladies come out of what I've been through, and they tend to this extreme of, I don't want to have anything to do with guys. Some of them are lesbians.
Yeah.
They are like, you know what, guys zero.
But
Some of them tend to the other extreme of, they become addicted to guys. They become, they say there's woman rapper, they become man rapper. Any guy just come, So I was on that, place. So that was me. Let's just say, if you want to say it in the way it should be, I was actually cheap to guys. Yes, I was very, very easy. So that was me. Not because I was created to be cheap, but because of what I had been through. So it took me to that, place, to that extreme. So that was what happened to me. So how I met my husband, should I share that?
yes.
Okay, so he knew me when I was at that extreme of being, attached to guys, addicted to guys. But God so faithful, we ended up attending the same university. We're doing pretty great together in OAU Moro. And it's so funny how that my mom, I stayed in an apartment with a roommate, and he also had his own apartment with his own guys. Guys stay where guys stay and all that. So my mom saw him and was like, that I'm handing over this girl to you, because he was kind of like a pastoral person and all that. So, but he wasn't really comfortable with me. I remember he would come to my room. He can't stay because there were naked pictures, on my wall. And he's a pastor person, so it wasn't comfortable. Me, I'll wear bomb shot, I'll be moving around. It wasn't always comfortable with me, and not knowing that I was actually praying for me. It was one of those people that saw the kind of life I was living and didn't condemn. And then, he began praying for me. And a year later, he saw the woman I had become, how that, God had changed my life. And, I had become somebody else different. So at that time, he didn't even know that I was going to be his wife. But I knew.
But you got attracted to him?
I wasn't attracted to him, funny enough. And he's a fine guy, really, but I didn't like him.
Not because he was a pastor.
Yes, I really didn't like him, and he had bow leg. And I was like, you know what? When I used to see him, I used to tell me that girls liked him, but me, I didn't like him. But then when I got to know that he was the one I was going to get married to, so the attraction came. And the attraction was not lustful attraction of...
But how? How did you know he was the one you would settle for?
Oh, how did I know? So this is the thing about when you have a relationship with God, when he's the one that created you, when you have a relationship with him, he will tell you the things about your life. He will tell you the things about your life. So God began to tell me the things about my life. Began to tell me that this is not who you are. You're not the sex object. You have been called to ladies. You have, an NGO. You reach out to sex workers. I knew all of this in 2015, but I actually launched the NGO in 2017. So even now, when I go to meet sex workers, the way they embrace me, the way I have entrance and love with them. It shocks the people that even work with me and my team, that because I just know that this thing, it's basically because I have been called to reach out to them. So it's basically God that just told me about it. So when I knew it was the one, he didn't know. So he was still like, can I marry this person? Because his own idea was he wants to marry a virgin, a Holy Mary. I've been keeping myself, so I have to marry somebody that is in that light. But God shocked him. And he ended up falling in love. I mean, the guy is in love, really. I don't know why he loves me the way he does, but I see that is a gift.
Literally, he changed you. He changed you, like he led you to Christ, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was like an intercessor praying for me. Yes, and just someone that was like a school father figure. He knew all the bad things I was doing. He knew all the relationship. I would even get into a relationship with my best friend's ex. He knew all of those nonsense life I was living, but he would keep saying, this is not how to live. But he wasn't condemning me. We're friends and all, but that was it.
But what was your the reaction of your parents to it?
Oh, to our relationship?
No, before you met him.
Before I met him, the life I was living.
Yeah.
Well, our parents really know the kind of life that we were living. I'm serious. That's why, in fact, this interview when you were like, oh my God, that when you asked me these questions, I was just like, Jesus is Lord. The truth is, most of our parents don't really know what we went through, really.
And that was when you were in school.
Yeah, when I was in school, they don't really know the life that we lived. But they know that now I'm a woman of God, that I'm, what I'm doing, I'm into sex, I'm reaching out to sex workers. They know what I do. And I forgot to say this. So when you were asking if I was attracted to my husband, so I wanted to say that the attraction was not lost kind of attraction. Okay. It was a relationship where we were in a relationship for 4 years, 9 months and 20-something days, 21 days and no sex. So I had healed from that, being addicted, to sex and to guys. So, yeah.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, how long, starting this NGO, how did you start? What inspired you to start it?
So, this is a very, 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 very deep question. Okay, like I said, when you get to meet your creator, when you get to, have a relationship with him, he starts to show you the things about you that you are meant to do, not the lies that the devil told you, not the lies. Because it's so funny that the people that I was called to reach out to was what the enemy wanted me to become. Because of his lies, he was actually taking me into that direction, not knowing that I was called to them. But thank God, God started to show me that that's not who you are. So, okay, I remember that something happened in school, in university. There was a lady that she snapped a picture of my private part, and I think one music artist, I don't want to mention his name, she sent it to him, and then the thing went on Twitter. Then it went viral, and everybody started to mention the girl's name on campus. Even Suya man, they will mention her name, like, let's say her name was Nkechi, this thing, Nkechi, that one. And I cried. I don't know this girl. It pained me so much that why would she be embarrassed like this? Like, she shouldn't go through this. I remember going to a place they call Sports Centers in OAU, and I went there and I cried. I said, God, I want to see this girl. I want to meet her. I want to show her love. And that was how I met a friend who said, this Nkechi, mata. I said, you know her? I said, yeah, I know somebody that knows her. So that's how I got in contact with her. So from there, I started to pick that I have compassion for girls like that, and then I started to see myself, visions of myself, reaching out to them, and that was how it started. So I spent about from the year 2015 to 2016 basically just interceding for them, praying for them, even without starting the NGO. So that was how it all started.
So that's from 2015 till date.
Yeah.
Officially
we launched 2017.
So how has it been so far?
Wow, it's been beautiful. I think let me just use this opportunity to thank everyone who has supported me on this journey. It's really been beautiful, really. We started in Calabar in 2017, and I remember crying the night after the first outreach because I met a 15-year-old girl who can count how many men she sleeps with.
15-year-old.
Yeah. She's an orphan. She started when she was 13.
13?
Yeah. She started when she was 13, and it was painful. It was, meeting a lady 18 saying her sister sold her to sex work. Her sister told her that I have a job for you. And she said, okay, what's the job? And then she found herself in the brothel, and it was such a painful, heartbreaking experience for me. So we reached out to them. I think there were about 10 there, and we showed them love. We made them see, understand that this is not who they were created to be. We gave them gifts. We usually take gifts to them, provisions, food stuff and stuff. And we went to Abakaliki next, and then we did Lagos. We've done Lagos a couple of times, but the one that's really, really blowing my mind right now was when I got in my heart to write this book to sex workers as our last year. So we started by sharing it to sex workers in Lagos. So we went to a brothel in Yaba. The brothel right now, it has been demolished. It has been sold. I'm so happy about that. Anyways, so, and then I started to get girls call me that they read the book and they want out, they want to quit.
Wow. As
in, one right now, she's learning tailoring. She's telling me she wants to make my clothes for me for free.
Wow.
We have another one who, she wasn't even there the day we shared the book. She just saw the book with a friend, and then she called us that she really wants out. She wants to see me. She's been having dreams, like after reading the book, saying that she has to quit this or she would die. That she needs to quit, and she met with me, and we're also keeping in touch with her, sending her stipends, supporting her. And also, it's been beautiful. We just came back from Abuja last month, where we reached out to sex workers in Kubwa, Abuja. It's been beautiful. We've also been to Benin, as well. We're looking at going to different places, even outside Nigeria, to reach out to these girls. The truth is, some people would say that, oh, are you just reaching out to these girls? What exactly are you doing to help them? So while we're actually working on a rehabilitation center for them somewhere in Osun State, we're trying to put funds together to really, launch it and, make that a center where we can have some of them come and we rehabilitate them, empower them skill-wise and all that. But the truth is, we cannot rehabilitate every sex worker, but we can sow seeds of love. We can hand this book over to them. We can sow seeds of words that when they go about their job, they will remember what we said to them. I could show you on my phone. I posted a picture of when I was, hugging a sex worker in a Lagos brothel, and the lady in the brothel, there are some of them on my contacts. She saw it. She said this was the day that I have ever been shown love. And I remember she said in a video, that we did, she said if they tell her that in her next life that people will love them like this, that she would think is a lie. That people look at them like they are just animals. But we came with food. We came with gifts, we came with provisions. So when you show people love and you make them see that, there is something beautiful about your life, as they go about their life, they will have a point where they will have a rethink. And be like, you know what? I think I have to change. So that's why we leave some things with them. We leave journals, we leave books with them, we leave gifts to them that, they will keep, seeing. And, at some point they'll be like, you know what? I think I can do better. I can do better than this. So that's basically the basic thing for us. Just showing love to these girls. sharing hope to them and encouraging them.
Thank you. So I must say you are doing a very great job.
Thank you.
You're really doing really, really great.
Thank
Okay, we'll go on a short break now, and when we come back, because I'd love to also ask you what's approach, because you can't say it's all sex workers your approach that gives you attention. So I'll talk about that after this time. So viewer, please stay with us. We'll be back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Yes, before the break, I wanted to ask you that what's approach? How do you get to them? What approach do you use? How do you convince them? Because I can't imagine that someone that has been doing this kind of work for years, practically that's what they live on. How do you convince them, and how do they embrace you? How do they give you attention?
Okay, so I would say that in my experience so far in reaching out to sex workers, going to hotels, if we want to do it based on score, I would say maybe 2 out of 100 have turned us down, like hotels that we can't come. Yes, I think it's just 2 that said we can't come, and but for most of our outreaches, we are always giving the you can come. In fact, there was one, that the Lagos one, where we found those girls that have read the book, that are doing fine now. What even happened was we're actually opposed. I'll tell you the strategy after this. We're actually opposed, like, you guys can't come and see the girls, and I remember going there with my team. We drove down and something funny happened. The manager was still saying, you guys cannot come. I was still telling my team, you guys cannot come, but they said something happened, that when I walked upstairs, I said, okay, let's go and see him. They said the man's countenance just changed, and he was just like, oh wow, you guys are here. And I was like, this is the person people were saying. They're like serious. So they were even saying that we should be, that we're like, they were coming to tell me that let's be going, that they don't even know what happened. So the thing is, when we do things like this, we need to see the hand of God in it. That, because I don't really know places in Lagos, to be honest. But I kept hearing Yaba. You both need to go to Yaba. You both need to go to Yaba. So I just asked.
Yaba lives. Yaba.
I just asked my team, please, you both should find a brothel in Yaba. So they found that particular place, and that was where we're able to feature out these 2 precious souls that we are grateful for today, that they've made that decision. So I'll tell you about the strategy, but let me say, how do we convince them? Now let me say this: nobody can really change anybody. Only God can change people. It's only God that can change people. Nobody. We can only just try. We can only just do the one we can do, and just trust God to do the rest. Because, like, I mean, someone that's been doing this for years to sort out. I've met people in sex work who tell me that this is what they are doing to take care of their family, this is what they are doing to killing. So the thing is, one of the things I've noticed with most of them is they don't want to do this. Yes, I can tell you that they don't want to do this thing. Most of them, maybe those high class Aristo girls in Lekki, or maybe they want to, but these ones in the hotels that we go to meet, they really don't want to do this. And then I asked them, what would you want to do if you don't have to do this? And they tell me, I would love to start this business, I would love to go for this training, I would love to do this, I will need capital. We have some people right now that we need capital for them. Like the girl that said she wants to sew for me, we're planning to buy her machine. I already told her, I promised her, don't worry, before August we'll buy you an industrial machine and all that. So they really, if they can get the support that they need, most of them don't want to do this. So the strategy that we use, basically, we realize that these brothels, they are being, someone is actually in charge of the activities there. So we usually go for that person. Like, we get their permission.
Okay.
Yes. So we tell them that we are coming, we want to show these girls love, we want to encourage them, that see, there is a better life. We don't go with this thing of want to come and tell them that what people are doing is bad. No, we go
like to go and condemn them.
Yes, because that's not even why we do what we do. So we tell them that we want to show them love, so that's what the strategy that we've been using. Okay. And I mean, it's been beautiful. In fact, Abuja's outreach was so beautiful that the guy that we met, the manager, we went to meet him. He said, okay, in fact, we even have another branch. He carried us to another branch that people must visit that branch. So in the outreach, we had our outreach in 2 extensions. Kind of, it was one saying that that girl, she was my classmate in university. But look at her now. Look at, in fact, even the people that are even managing, the brothel, they even have compassion that these people, what people are doing, that's not it really. But it's just because of lack of finances.
So now, having, like, I know that you must have encountered a lot of them. Now going through your website, something caught my attention that from 2017 to 2020, your NGO reached out to over 100 sex workers in Nigeria, and I must say that that's quite commendable. So now you say you just go to the hotels, talk to their manager, then they give you access to it. Now, what do you think is the commonest, like the general reason why most of them do this kind of work?
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's basically because of poverty. Yes, poverty. That's the general reason why they do what they do. I've met a woman who told me that she lost her husband, family came and took everything that he had, and all she didn't have anything, so this was all she could do. I would say poverty and lack of skill development, because the fact that you don't have money is not an excuse for you to start prostitution. If you know what you can do to make money, if you can provide a skill or a service, you'll be able to make money. So I believe that these are the 2 things. So they feel like, I don't have money, that's the end of the world. But there are things that they can actually do. Now there's one the one that one of the other sex workers, ex-sex worker rather, that she reached out to, that she wants to quit. What she's doing now, she goes to get fuel from a cheaper place. She sells it, like sort of like, she sells it to people like in a neighborhood, alongside the stipends we sent to her. She was even telling me that, she wants to sell pepper, and all. And then she also, when she was doing the sex work, she also used to buy bag and shoe and all of that, from Abuja. She'd come to Lagos to sell, But you see that being content too is also another problem. Because remember, she told me, she said people are laughing at now that this God way that you have embraced, hunger will kill you. And she said, even let it kill me. She has gotten to that point where I want to make this money the right way. So I would say poverty and lack of skill development, and people not being able to, be content and really go through process. Yes, and lack of love.
Lack of love, because I know of someone who is actually into this work just because the parents do not really like her. They don't show her love at all, but they show love to other siblings. So this guy's like, seems I have no value, no one loves me.
True.
I'm worthless. So he tried to just like, I think I just need to leave. So he left the house and just moved with a friend who does that kind of work. So she introduced her to it, and she started doing it.
Because there are some people that you see that they have money, their parents have money.
Yes,
and you're wondering what exactly is the problem. So I'm thank you for saying that, because it makes me, it validates the vision that we have, because the vision that we have is to show these girls love. That's like our core assignment. I keep telling my team, everybody that works with me, our mission is to show these people love. I mean, our mission is to show
and
them
not to
love.
condemn.
Yes. So I think that's like the underlying factor here. They need to be loved.
Okay, now I tell us, what do you think what is the role of the government? What do you think is the role that government can play in this part to help curb this social problem?
Okay, the thing is, the government can actually do a lot, and they can actually do so much. What they can do is that they can have like, a project especially for these girls. There's no need hiding anything. Just project for girls that work in hotels, and they call it like, empowerment, an empowerment scheme for them, whereby when the girls go through this scheme and then they are able to go through it properly, they are able to present them like a grant or a support fund, get them a house, because some of them, they didn't have where to stay, they are just having sex. The amount they get from sex, they pay the person in the hotel. In fact, I can't remember the ridiculous amount they pay again. I think they pay, the one in Yaba, they pay like, is it 15,000 every week or so. So they can do that for these girls, come up with a scheme to help them, something that will be directed to them. So the government can do that,
and they can do that through NGOs.
They can do that through NGOs. They can support NGOs like ours, in doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about like the progress of what, because I know that there are so many NGOs also who are doing this as well. But before we go there, let's talk about, I know there are categories of sex workers. Just like you said, we have some in Lekki, then Yaba, depending on the location.
And the Agege people.
And Agege people. So we have some people who have decided that this is what they want to do. No situation led them to it. They just decided that, oh no, this is what they want to do. Probably because of what they have experienced while they were little, and they're like addicted to it and struggling with it, like they want to come out of it, but they have no one to even lead them, like, oh,
they're
no,
addicted to sex, all of those things.
Yes. So what would you like to say to them? How do you think they can come out of it? You have some people who are addicted to it already, but they want to come out of it, but they do not know how to come out of it. Yeah.
Okay, for such people, I would say that the way I got my own freedom, I would say that they follow that path. I would say that they meet with God. I would say that if people want to help people like that, I would say you pray for them and then you show them love. I've had people come and tell me that, please, I want to help this person is giving to this thing, how do I help them? Pray for them, show them love, and then teach them who they really are. That's why we have the Word of God. The Word of God is so powerful. The Word of God was what really healed me. People say, oh, when you have been abused before, when you are married, you'll be tormented having sex with your husband. Those things are not true. The Word of God can heal you from those things. People say if you had sex before, you can't keep yourself. Those things are not true.
Yeah.
I was able to do that, by the grace of God before I got married. So you would teach them God's word. Let them feed on the Word of God. See themselves in the Word of God. Let the Word of God give them a new definition, a new identity. Let them see themselves in God's Word. See the Bible that we carry. People think it's not religion. It's actually the life of God that we are meant to live. So when you sit down and you're reading the Bible, you're not just reading it like this is a religious affair. You are reading it like this is actually who I am. And as you're reading that, you become that person. You become that person. So that's what happened to me. So for such people, just do that for them. Okay. So I actually run mentorship programs for girls like that. I have a mentorship program that I've had girls that have committed abortion. They were addicted to sex, but they are doing well now, after they went through that mentorship program.
Okay. Yeah. So now what you do now, just like you said, that you say you empower them also, even after showing them love, you try to empower them.
Yes.
And I know that you need funds to do all of this.
We need money.
So how do you get funds?
Okay, so we've basically been, playing the cards of fundraising. People, I have a kind of a community of people that know about what we do.
Okay.
So they just, put money together, but we're looking at having to get grants, having to have collaborations with organizations that can really help us with huge funding. But for now, it's been, crowdfunding that we've been using to, sponsor our projects, so that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Before we go, so what would be your advice? Or before I ask that, I know that I'm still going back to funds. Aside this, do you do any other thing?
Yes, I do. I run a publishing company. I
Okay.
publish books.
Okay.
I design. I'm a designer.
Okay.
So yes, I work from home, that kind of thing, remote work, you know.
Okay.
So that's what I do. So that it's good that people like us, we have a thing we're doing, because it's better that you have something you're doing than to just say you want to start an NGO work and you don't really have
A
any.
source of income.
Yes, it
To
helps.
affect it.
So I try my best. I don't even want to spend the NGO money. My husband will not even allow that. So we spend NGO money for NGO work, and then we do our work too. So
Okay. You said something earlier that you came across a very young girl at 13 who was a sex worker, and you try to like encourage the person. Now, for the benefit of those watching us, I know that there's so many young girls also who are passing through this, who are being abused, and over time they got addicted to it, and they are like, there's no hope. This is what I'm called out to do. So what will be your words to them? What will be your advice to them on how they can heal?
okay, so if you're watching and you are in this place where you feel like, this is who I am, this is my life, this is my part, there's nothing I can do, there's no hope, what I'll say to you is that don't believe that lie. There are actually two persons that can actually determine how far you will go in life, and those two persons are actually you and God. Your past cannot determine what you would achieve in life. The things you've been through, whether you were raped 25 times or you've aborted several times, or you're addicted to a lot of things, those things cannot determine the woman that you would be. You can still become a nation builder. You can still become a multi-millionaire. You can still become a woman that your children's children will be proud of. You can still become a woman that will leave something tangible on the earth. So please do not allow those things, the things you've been through, to make you to mar you. Please do not. Okay, that's what I'll say to you. Do not. God and you are the two people here, and trust me, God is on your side. God wants to help you. He wants you to live out the woman He created you to be. So please focus on God and focus on you.
Thank you so much. Another message to people watching who have maybe people around who are into this business. But so many people, Nigerians, we are always quick to judge, like, oh, look at what she's doing. Her life is this, her life is that, condemning and all of that. And most of these people who do this work, some of them, just because they are being condemned, some of them will commit suicide. Like it seems they are worthless, they are nothing. And even the sex work business is not even booming. And you'll feel like, oh, what I'm doing is not even working. It seems I am actually condemned, and some of them committing suicide. So what will be your message to Nigerians on showing love to these people and letting them understand that it is only by showing them love that they can actually heal fast?
Okay, so to my dear fellow Nigerians, the truth is, identifying problems, spotting problems will never solve any problem. Condemning these girls, saying why are they doing this, what they are doing this, that, will not solve any problem. Okay, it's good that we know what the problem is, but we can actually solve this problem by actually loving and showing these girls love. I was speaking to one of them some months ago, how she started this job, and I wanted to cry because if you hear her story, we're actually looking at putting it into a short film. This was a lady, she was in debt. She started a business, and microfinance were hunting her to pay, and a friend introduced her to prostitution. And then on her first day going out with her friend, she was raped, and she saw about something condoms were used on her. That was all she could remember. She was drugged, and she woke up from that pregnant. She had to, her life just went south. So the only thing she could think about was sex work. So if you're condemning these girls, can we start thinking about solutions? Can we stop condemning them? Can we think about how to create, programs that can teach people how to create wealth? Think about, having, scholarship funds that can help some of these girls. Let's, stop condemning. Let's start thinking of how we can, create solutions. Because the more we condemn, the more we actually, adding to the problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time
Thank
this
you.
evening. I really appreciate every bit of our conversation,
Thank you.
and I'm so sure that you watching us also have learned one or two things. And I must say again that you're doing a great work, and I must commend you. More grace to your elbow.
Amen.
And now, talking generally now, how can we reduce these people in the society? How can we reduce, like, how can we reduce the increase? Because it keeps increasing day by day. Looking at the economy, things are not really going as expected. How can we reduce all of this?
Okay, so I love something one of my friends said. When the lady reached out to us that she really wants to stop. So the thing was now like, okay, what do we do for her now? And then I love something my friend said. She said, you see why many of us need to start our businesses. But many of us, we are actually, we've been caught up in this web of survival mode. I'm working in my 9 to 5, they are paying me well. But inside of you, you know that you have a business that you should have actually started, and not so that you can make money, but so that you can give other people, employment. So if we have more people, launch their businesses, come out courageously and start up that, launch that innovative idea and birth something, that will benefit the society, we can actually, absorb some of these girls because they really want to work. I'm telling you, they really want to work. We can have, someone come up with, a business of a nanny service company whereby you train these girls so well, and then, just like we will have Uber, you can have them, come serve you, and you pay them per hour, and all of that. Because some of these girls, how much do they sleep with per man? Sometimes 1,000, sometimes 5,000, sometimes 3,000. So we can have all of that, in the society. I love what, Uber, the whole idea of Uber, and I think that thing has helped to reduce a lot of, male crime, because we have a lot of male drivers. Yes. And we can have something that, the girl child can actually do as well, that can, absorb, empower them. It will really be helpful to help reduce all of this. I have people who, have your hairdressing, salon. Employ these girls, let them come out. But you see some people, they know they are meant to have a hairdressing business, but they are stuck as bank managers. They don't want to start some of these things.
So we need more business owners,
exactly, to come out, and then more people should support the business owners too as well. Let there be more. I thank God for what Tosin Adeyemi is doing, helping more people to start businesses. So we need all of that to keep happening. And please, I just feel like I should say this. It's a word for somebody here. It's time to start that business. It's not just about you. It's not just about your bread. There are people who that business would empower, and they are waiting for you. And the more you delay, the more they will keep prostituting and wasting away.
Thank you so much for your time. All right, viewer, thank you so much for joining us on this interview, and I hope that you've learned something. So stop the condemnation, and embrace, show them love. And by so doing, yes, we are actually helping them and bringing sanity back to our society. So we'll take a short break now, take the quote for today. We'll be back. Stay with us. prostitutes in Nigeria has called for the attention of governments, NGOs, and other bodies to join hands together in addressing this social and moral misconduct. So I hope you have learned one or two things from today's lecture, and make sure that even as you go about, do not condemn any sex worker. What you need to do is to show them love and give them hope. By showing them love, you're giving them hope. And if you're out there and you're thinking like, oh no, this is the best way for me to live my life as a sex worker, I want you to know that there is a better life out there for you. So thank you so much, viewer, for staying tuned on today's episode of Amazing Amazon. I'll come your way again next week, Saturday. Thank you so much for staying with us. I remain your host, Tosin Adeyemi. Bye for now.